crashing my tablet.
All right. Well, then, yeah, I'll keep an eye on Twitch.
You keep an eye on Twitch. I'll keep an eye on YouTube.
So,
are we live?
I think we're live.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me jump over. Yes, we are live. Are you ready?
I mean, I was born, to use the words of, no, I'm not, because that would be saying naughty words. I was going to say I could use the immortal words of Blade. I was born ready.
Yes.
Mother effer.
I'm pretty sure that Blade and Wesley Snipes are one and the same person.
You'd think so, but they recast him.
Which is kind of upsetting.
Yeah.
Because Blade was amazing. I loved those movies. And I always loved how, like, the good guys, when they disappeared or when they died, they always, like, faded off into the sunset. Whereas, like, a bad vampire just, like, blew up and burst of, like, ash. But, like, anytime there was a good vampire that died, it was like, ah! It was very poetic almost. Very much loved it. Anyways, hello,
it's weird,
friends.
I got the notification, but it's so weird. I got the notification, but I can't see you.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Okay.
47 seconds ago.
Hello, friends.
Nerdy. There we are. Found us. I found us.
Welcome to another episode of Going Nerdy. Talking Nerdy with me, that is from Going Nerdy. And today I'm joined with the Nev. Hello, the Nev.
Oh, hello. Hello, Governor. You've got the window like so messed up. You're cutting off everything over my right shoulder. There might be something cool that people want to look at. I mean, there isn't. There's nothing cool over my right shoulder that people are missing out on, except for maybe my Boba Fett alarm clock. They can't see my Boba Fett alarm clock, so people might go, "Oh, that's so cool. Where did you get that from?" And then I would say 99 cents from a thrift store. I don't know if it works because I've never put batteries in it.
It doesn't matter if it works.
Yeah, I don't care.
Right? It doesn't matter if it works. It only matters that it looks cool, right?
Yes, exactly. It looks cool. Boba looks cool. Boba Fett looks cool.
Yeah.
He's right next to my Darth Vader section because I've like that bottom end of the shirt. Hang on a minute. I'll do it because see that bottom end of that's all my Darth Vader stuff.
Nice. So Nev and I are both avid collectors of stuff. Nev's lucky enough to have a consignment store. Is that what you call them? A thrift shop.
Well, there are. I go to thrift stores all the time and get bits and pieces. What is it? I went to a thrift store this week and I picked up Star Wars Trivial Pursuit on DVD.
Oh, nice.
The Saga one. So that's episodes 1 to 6. I got that for $2. What else did I get? Oh yeah, I got that. So I got that for $2. I got a Poe Dameron for $1, and there was something else I got, but I can't remember. There was something else Star Warsy that I got for $1, and I can't remember. I honestly can't remember off the top of my head. So, but I'm always picking up Star Wars bits.
Yeah, and I think as you should, like I enjoy.
I'm always picking
the random stuff that I've got all my Funkos, I've got my my Cara Dune Funko with her little teardrop tattoo, which I assume means she killed a stormtrooper, but it's not. It's something about remembering Alderaan. Now, Nev and I are going to be talking tonight about a lot of the stuff that's been going on with Star Wars, specifically with Cara Dune, with Gina Carano, and we will also be introducing and talking about the High Republic. Now,
High Republic.
It is, it's awesome because I don't get a chance to do this very often. I mean, typically on my live streams, I talk to you guys, but it's nice being able to talk to someone who can talk back, right? That's not a teenager or one of my own children.
I answer back.
Yes, you answer back.
I answer back.
So, for those of you who don't know, Gina Carano, the rumor is, and I've got to say this, at this moment, and I think Nev and I both agree, the rumor is that Gina Carano hasn't officially been fired. Now, the story...
No, that's not the rumor. That's factually accurate.
Okay, so the rumor that's going around is Gina Carano has been fired. Now, back on, was it Wednesday of last week?
Yeah.
I was live streaming. We were doing Battlefront 2, just playing, having a good time. And the Nev is, oh, by the way, if you are offended by a drunk British person, let me phrase that. If you're easily offended by drunk British people, this may not be the show for you, because I feel like Nev's going to get hammered.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to get hammered. I'm just going to get a buzz on. I'm just going to get a buzz on.
Sloshed.
So that I'm just going to get a buzz on. I'm just going to have one beer, and I'm going to have 2, maybe
bottles.
3 bourbon and cokes. That's
Okay.
it. So I'm just going to get my buzz on.
So here's the thing. Everyone, and I gotta say, what's been absolutely fascinating about this is, Nev, you were right on. On Wednesday night of last week, as we were playing, Nev messaged me on Discord. He's like, hey, I really want to talk to you about this, so let's bring me on. So I brought him on, and we started talking. Nev was right on when it came to what would happen with the events here. Now, what happened was a website called Gizmodo, or IO9 Gizmodo, however you want to call it. It's a fairly reputable nerd news site, but it is one of those sites that has their inside sources, right? And that's what happened. An inside source reached out to Gizmodo and said, hey, Cara Dune, Gina Carano is being let go. In addition to that, we are not happy with the way that she's never worked. She doesn't work for us. She isn't working for us. We have no foreseeable plan to work with her in the future. And her, her poster, terrible.
Would you like the quote?
Yes, please. Please give us the quote.
It's literally, it is one quote, and it has been torn apart, bastardized, and passed off as, official Lucasfilm word. The official quote, and this is it. This is the only thing that was spoken about, the only thing that was released, and it has not changed one iota since the week. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing more, nothing less. Just that. Every single news article, blog, post, video is based 100% purely off those words from an unofficial, unverified person that claims to be working at Lucasfilm. And exactly. I have instantly said to you, after reading that, oh, it's a Doomcock source.
Yeah.
Because Doomcock has a source, he claims to have a source at Lucasfilm, and every time he does one of his videos based on information gathered from that source, he says, this is unverifiable rumor.
Yes. Please
take it with a pinch of salt.
Yes.
Gizmodo didn't do any of that. So they did an article. Then they did it. But basically, it just went completely and utterly bonkers. So they did an article. Then somebody else did an article. Then someone else did an article. And basically, it did the Chinese whispers about 5 times that evening. And then the following day, it just blew up using the exact same quote from the exact same site. But then it became Gina Carano has been fired. Yeah. Despite the first line of the quote saying, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm. Yet the headline is Gina Carano fired. Yeah. So I'm like, so you're using an unverified account, you're quoting it as saying she's not currently employed by Lucasfilm, but your clickbait bullshit headline is saying Gina Carano fired. And every single person out there that has talked about this story has used the same bullshit clickbait title.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's interesting about this is we haven't actually heard an official report from Disney about this.
No,
right?
nothing from Disney, nothing from Lucasfilm, nothing from
Gina Carano.
nothing, absolutely nothing.
Now, I will say that Gina Carano has, she's gotten a lot of support, and obviously there's a lot of people on the other side who just absolutely hate her. But she's gotten a lot of support. She's gotten a lot of frustration from the other side for sure. But one of the things that I've seen is there is a hardcore conservative media outlet called the Daily Wire.
Yeah. No, I listen to the Ben Shapiro show.
The Ben Shapiro, yeah. So Ben Shapiro. Now, what's hilarious about this is the post in question is being characterized as being anti-Semitic, which it's not. It's at all. Let me make sure. I've actually got the post here somewhere. Anyways, it's not anti-Semitic, even a little bit. It does.
It invokes Godwin's. It's a lazy comparison. I explained this to Paul the other day. There is something called Godwin's law, right? Mm-hmm. Back in 1990, a professor came out, and it's called Godwin's law, Godwin's rule, and the argument is that every discussion, every debate, every argument has a 100% likelihood of diverting to an argument using the Nazis or Hitler. So no matter what the discussion is, no matter what the argument is, somebody is always going to invoke Godwin's law and compare something to Nazis or Hitler. And the internet meme is quite simple. The first person to invoke Godwin's law loses the argument, because if you can't counter something or argue against something in a debate or a discussion without invoking Godwin's law, you're lazy. So she made a lazy comparison using a Nazi analogy, and it's lazy as hell. And it's my one. That's my criticism of it. It's like, you don't go straight to a comparison like that. It's lazy. You know, there are other ways to rebut an argument or to make a point without invoking without invoking Godwin's law. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. Now, I have put up the actual post that she posted. Now, I understood that this is from Instagram, right?
Yes, it was. It was an Instagram post. We still haven't figured out who it was she was quoting.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
If you look at the post, and I'll put it right here in the center of the screen. If you look at the post, it's so for those of you just joining us, it wouldn't be a Going Nerdy live stream if there weren't technical difficulties. And
there's always technical
difficulties. Yeah, and so it's one of those things that is just the article here is the post here is she's quoting someone, right? And her comment is what is above this. Now,
she commented above and then she quoted somebody, but we don't know who it is. We don't know who the quote is attributed to. It'd be nice to know who the quote is attributed to.
Exactly.
But we don't know, unfortunately.
Exactly. And we don't know. And that's what's frustrating, because it was taken down. It was we don't have a lot of information. And again, she's been silent. Disney has been silent. No one has.
Lucasfilm has been silent.
They've all been silent. And so,
they've all been silent.
We don't know what's really going on. All we have is
internet rumor being passed off as fact, which it isn't. And everybody's doing it. The people who like her are doing it, and the people who hate her are doing it. Everybody's using the same bullshit clickbait title.
Mhm.
Gina Carano fired. It's like, no, she wasn't. She was never being hired by them. Oh, well, yeah, but she was fired by her agency. And I'm like, no. They worked for her. They just don't want to work for her anymore. So they have given her notice that they are not going to represent her anymore. And that's where the Daily Wire thing kicked off. So Daily Wire's analogy is, oh, Gina Carano's been fired from her agency. No, they just simply ceased to represent her.
Yeah.
And as a direct result of that happening, the Daily Wire have been like, well, you don't need representation. We'll fund you to do a movie. You produce and star in a movie, we'll fund you for it. And she's been like, brilliant, great, thanks. At least I know I have a job without having to, because obviously an acting agency, they would be your representatives. They would be the one trying to get you scripts and trying to get you projects and trying to get you involved. And if you do not have an agency, if you do not have an agent, then you're nothing. You're screwed. You're not getting. You're not getting scripts, you're not getting job interviews, you're not getting any of that. So by going directly to the Daily Wire and them saying, we'll give you a movie, just whatever you want to do, you'll do it, and that's it. So she doesn't need to worry about her next gig. Once the Daily Wire stuff is over, she's going to be right back at square one. No agency, and nothing on the horizon. So, I mean, I think she's probably fairly comfortable from a money point of view. So I don't think she has to worry about that. But and to be here's the thing. To be perfectly honest with you, people are like, based off that rumor, oh, she won't be asked. She's not going to. She will. She will be Cara Dune again in season 3 of Mando. She will.
Yeah.
I will bet. I will say right here, right now, she will be Cara Dune again. Okay, she will be Cara Dune again. If James Gunn can be fired from being the director for Guardians of the Galaxy and then rehired 12 months later for what he posted on social media, I'm damn sure that Disney will be like, come in, we need you to start principal photography. And she'll be like, what do you mean? And they'll be like, well, we want, but you fired. It's like, no, we never fired you.
Oh,
no, we never fired you. That was some random person claiming to work at Lucasfilm. They were nothing to do with us, but we just didn't want to get involved. We didn't want to put ourselves in the middle of an army of people that love you and an army of people that hate you, and we didn't want to put ourselves in the middle. So we just thought, you know what, sod it. We'll take a back seat. We'll let these two warring factions burn each other out. And 9 to 12 months from now, when we need to bring you in for principal photography, we'll bring you in, and both sides will be like, what? What? Oh, we're so stupid. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. No, and I agree with you. But here's the thing, that I don't believe that she's going to have as much of a role in season 3 of The Mandalorian because of where it's going. I think the bigger impact is the Rangers of the Republic, or the New Republic, because she was meant to be one of the principal characters in that show. And all the rumors that people are talking about is like, now Jon Favreau is all up in arms about this and potentially thinking of like, hey, we're going to cancel the show because this is, this is frustrating. This is, you took one of my main characters out and we can't do this without her. So I don't know. Like, I think that would be more of where the impact would lie. Additionally, what a lot of people have been saying is that the rumors are telling us that, like, so I'm sorry. The comment, Ryan Doherty points out that this was a follow up to an article written by I forget who it was. It was I feel like it was
a journalist for the LA Times.
Yeah,
and she was annoyed at how aggressively nice her neighbor was for plowing the snow off the drive.
Yeah,
and she compared her neighbors to I think she compared them to Hezbollah and to Nazis.
Yeah,
which again. She invoked Godwin's law.
Yeah,
it's And here's the thing: the only people, the only people I personally think have a legitimate reason to be fired for invoking Godwin's law are journalists. A journalist is supposed to be objectively impartial.
Yeah.
Objectively impartial. But the second a journalist invokes Godwin's law, they have brought their own subjectivity
Yep.
into an article that has no place being there.
Yeah.
A journalist is supposed to be impartial and objective. And if a journalist, and they all do it, all of them do it,
All the time.
and if a journalist invokes Godwin's law, they should not be employed as a journalist by their employer. They can be an opinion. They can do op-eds.
Yeah.
Right? They can do opinion pieces and they can do op-eds, but they should not be they should not be classified any longer as a journalist.
Exactly.
Because they've lost their impartiality and their objectivity.
And right now there is a huge demand for opinion. People want opinion. Like that's all news is. It's just opinion. It's not fact-based reporting. It's just, hey, this is what happened and here's my thought about it. And that's what we're doing here. We're talking about something, but we're giving our opinion. We're not paid to be journalists. We're fans. Exactly. We're venting, you know? And so, like,
I've been venting since Wednesday. I've been venting to you since Wednesday.
It's hard because here's the thing. As much as I dislike the argument. Like, again, I dislike, not the argument, the comparison. You know?
Yeah. It's lazy to use that comparison.
It is.
I don't like and I don't appreciate anybody invoking Godwin's law to try and win or own an argument when there are better, more astute, more diplomatic, more logical, more rational, more reasonable arguments that an individual person can use.
Yes.
Okay. You know, it's like perfect example from people when the right used to be, you know, because it swings in roundabouts. Sometimes it's the right that are nuts and crazy, and sometimes it's the left. As an anarchist, someone who's neither side, I see it all the time. And it used to be during the Bush era, you know, people on the right would be like, oh, well, you know, if you've got nothing to hide, you know, you should be all right with people spying on you and look, you know, being allowed in your front door, you know, to prove you're not a terrorist. And I'm like, no. You have a right to privacy. Your four walls should be to protect you, not just your physical, but your mental and, you know, your privacy. And they're like, you know, and they're like, oh, you know, so what we're not Nazis. We're not going to boot your door down and then that's it. You know, I'm like, no, you've lost it. You've just invoked Godwin's law. You've made the Nazi comparison. You're done. We're done. This argument, this discussion is over. When they could use much better ones. It's like, well, you know, we want to protect you from yourself, you know, and it's like, no, well, it's a bad argument, but it's not invoking Godwin's law. You know, I can work with bad arguments. I can argue against bad arguments. It is impossible to argue against the Nazi analogy. It is impossible to argue against people that invoke Godwin's law. It's just a nightmare. Hasbro have not cancelled any toys. The article, just like, you know, the article is Hasbro allegedly cancelled. Let's go to another one. Let's go to Polygon. Hasbro has allegedly. Let's go to Hasbro's. So it's allegedly cancelled. Okay, allegedly. Let's not say Hasbro has cancelled. I'm happy to and will concede Hasbro has allegedly cancelled. But the toy is selling that much at the moment. I mean, they're going for like the Black Series ones are going for like $200 on eBay at the moment. And they're going to want to get in on that action and make some money. So, you know, I just think that there is a massive demand for it at the moment. The supply has dried up, and that's it. I just think because the supply has dried up, it's going to take them a bit of time to, you know, make some more.
Okay, so So I've got an article from The Wrap, and this is where I think the Hasbro thing is coming from. Recast Ronda Rousey a Cara Dune.
Yeah, no.
That would be just as bad.
There's no need to recast her. She will be back to play Cara Dune when they want to start doing principal photography for Mando season 3. They won't recast her. They'll just phone her up and say, come on, get your ass in gear, put your costume on. It's time to start filming again.
So, Big Bad Toy Store, someone from the Comic Kid, Casey Walsh, hashtag BLM, posted this yesterday. Hasbro says bye-bye to Cara Dune. He posted a screenshot from someone from Big Bad Toy Store. Says we have informed.
I'm reading it.
We have informed by Hasbro that they have canceled production of this. So this is secondhand. This is secondhand of secondhand. Now,
third-hand information.
Yeah, and the problem with that is, again, it comes not verified. I could say anything and make it official by sending an email. Now, this person, I mean, they could be saying, "Hey, this is the case. This is what we've heard," but we don't know.
We don't know because there has been nothing official from Hasbro. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know, if it was official, and this is why every article is allegedly.
Yeah.
You know, just so that the Mary Sue and just so that Polygon can post an article with a clickbait title, they have to use the word allegedly. You know, there's no verification. There's no backing up. What real journalists do is can we get it verified?
Yeah.
Can we get a double verification from somebody in Hasbro that they have cancelled making the toy? If we can't get double verification that it's true, there's no point. It's rumor, it's supposition.
Yeah.
There's no point running the article. That's not what those websites are for. Those websites are for tabloid gossip and trash. They're not for real journalistic stories. We got this, and this is our source, and this is the second person that backed it up.
Exactly. I mean,
that's the way it used to work.
And we all do it. You know, we all watch those. We all read our tabloid news, or we all watch our tabloid TV. Nev makes fun of me because I watch. What's his name? Mike Zero, right?
Oh yeah, I used to watch. I used to like watching Mike Zero. Yeah. Okay, the first time I saw a Mike Zero video, I watched a couple of them, and I'm like, you know what? This is great. I'm going to subscribe to him.
Yeah.
And it was subscribing to him that was my problem, because then every single day I got hit with 5 Mike Zero stories.
Yeah.
And all I stayed sub to him for 3 days, and all 15 articles were like complete and utter bollocks. And I'm like, this is one of those people that, like a broken clock, is right twice every 24 hours.
Yeah. So
it was like he was right about one thing, and then there'd be like 50 to 100 stories that were complete and utter rubbish.
Yeah.
And then he'd be right about something, and then there'd be another 50 to 100 that
were
rubbish, and he'd be right about. So yeah. So
and I will say lately what I've seen from him has been more like reading the crowd. This is what we've heard. This is the rumor, but based on the reaction here, these are our thoughts, right?
His ad revenue must be phenomenal.
Oh my gosh,
the amount of videos that he does. His ad revenue must be huge.
Like, and mad props to him, man. I mean, anyone who can do that for as long, I mean, he's good. I mean,
I could not do that.
It's so hard. You know
how? Yeah, the thing is, it's like how you've got to be able to.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be able to fabricate or take some sliver of some tiny rumor and then twist it.
And again,
5 times a day.
I gotta say,
do it.
I gotta say though, mad props to the man. Mad props. Yeah. I'm not shaming him here. Right? Like, I still like watching but that's the point. We all
got to respect the grift. You've got to respect the grift.
You know,
he does snappy. He does snappy. He does the snappy thumb picks, right?
Yep.
And he comes up with really good clickbait titles. I could never. I don't. You know, Some people are just really good at clickbait titles.
Yeah.
I am terrible
I struggle
at clickbait titles. I'm terrible at clickbait titles.
Yeah.
He is like awesome at them. There are people out there that are just really good
Yeah.
at clickbait titles, and they're
You
really
and I
good.
had to collaborate on this clickbait
Yes,
title.
we did. We were collaborating for 30 minutes trying to come up with a thumbnail and a title for this live stream. That's how long, what it takes, that 30 minutes for Mike Zero he's probably got like a half a dozen, oh yeah.
He's already created like 3 videos.
He's already created
No, but we all do it, and we all go to that gossip, and we're like, oh well. But what's key in this thing is they haven't done anything. All of these articles, all of them, are connected back to this Gizmodo article that came out on Wednesday. And again,
everything leads back to that one quote from that one unverified, unnamed person. All of it, every single bit of it.
And that's the issue. That's the big issue here. Now
that is my massive issue.
Yeah.
And I hold that issue. Damn it! Just hang on a minute. I got. Hang on.
As he's finishing this up, I mean, really, the only people that know are Gina Carano, and the people at. I mean, I bet Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni know.
Yeah,
Kathleen
Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni probably have had a video call with each other. It's like, dude, seriously, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
this is like John to Dave. Dave, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
John,
no idea.
I haven't got a clue. What should we do, Dave? Let's do nothing, because both sides. There are 2 sides to this, and one side really loves her and one side really hates her. Yeah. I know, it's so weird. Everybody loves the character, but the fandom is
so
completely
divided.
Split on the actress. So 100% love the character, but the actress 50% love her and 50% hate her.
Yeah,
I know, it's so crazy, isn't it? So what should we do? I think what we should do is nothing. Let's literally do nothing.
Yeah,
because Twitter and YouTube have these like phases. They'll be outraged by something for a week, and then they're that stupid that they completely and utterly forget what they've been outraged by. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, they get outraged by one thing, and then they completely and utterly forget it. I know. Don't you remember what that? Think about it. Go back over a year. Think what happened to James Gunn. You remember all that ridiculous, outrageous stuff he posted on Twitter? Oh, yeah. All that edgy pedophile crap. Yeah. Well, he got fired. Remember? Yeah, I remember he got fired. Yeah, but they brought him straight back, and no one said a bloody thing. Really?
Mm-hmm.
No one said anything? Yeah, no one said anything. So if we just ignore this and let Gina go quietly, and everybody will think that we've let her go, when we do principal photography, we'll just phone her up and say, yeah, Gina, it's time to come into the office. Great idea. Let's do that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the way that the conversation has gone between those two. I guarantee it.
So I got it. So this is her. Hold on, that's the post display cap. There we are. So this is her YouTube. This is her Twitter page. She hasn't posted anything since the 12th, right? And I gotta say, I do love the tweet. It says, "This is just the beginning. Welcome to the rebellion." From a
tweet.
rebel character. I mean, that's just awesome, right? But like, they talk about canceling, and maybe this is. I gotta say, maybe this
is just about the agency. This is just with regards the agency that said that they were no longer going to represent her. It's got nothing to do with Lucasfilm. This is 100% about her agency.
Yeah. Now I have it, and this is something. The Babylon Bee. She did a podcast on the 10th. I have not seen this. Have you seen this, Nev?
Yeah, it was hilarious. It's so funny.
So what does she talk about in that one?
No. You got just. You can't play it, can you?
Not without tons of copyright stuff.
That's actual. No. You've got to watch it.
Okay.
It's a bit like when she did her. It's a bit like when she did her interview with drunk 3PO.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to capture the context of the discussion that was had and accurately kind of relay it.
Yeah.
You just got to watch it. You've just
Okay.
got to listen to it to understand that it was a very friendly natured conversation that occurred between two people.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't any animus or maliciousness in it. It was just a friendly chat.
Okay. Okay. So, and this is
Excuse me.
her Instagram that we're looking at now. Like,
She likes to post memes. You know,
yeah.
I have liked memes that she's posted before because they've made if
Oh, that's
somebody posts it, I don't care who posts a meme. If someone posts or retweets or reposts a meme and it makes me go
Yeah.
I like it because
That's
it
right.
got if it gets a reaction out of me,
Then
I
it
will
works.
like something.
Yeah.
If I look at a meme and it's like, yeah, not funny. Not
Yeah,
funny.
and that's
Not
that's
funny.
the thing.
Yes, funny. Not funny.
Exactly.
Not
Exactly. And that's the point of a meme, is to be enjoyable, to get a reaction and to get happiness out of people, right? It's
yeah,
fun.
exactly.
It's fun. Memes are great. But let's see. So it's one of the big things that a lot of people are frustrated about this is the kind of duplicitous nature of what's going on, because you have Gina's quotes, and again, this one specifically was the one that broke the camel's back. But then you also have Pablo Hidalgo,
Pascal.
but Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. He has also invoked Godwin's law.
Yeah, right.
Two people, two actors and actresses. You know, two actors who have both appeared on the same show, both invoking Godwin's law in order to try and, you know, win people over to an argument that they're trying to make, and the argument gets lost because they've both invoked Godwin's law. Okay, there are, like I said earlier, there are better ways to win people over to your side of an argument without invoking Godwin's law.
The big takeaway from this entire experience is don't compare other things to Nazism.
Yeah, exactly. The big takeaway from that. Stop it. Everybody should stop invoking Godwin's law. You know, as a voluntarist, it is a no-go zone. I know I am never, ever, ever going to win an argument or convince somebody to become a voluntarist, or that, you know, anarchy is the way if I'm constantly invoking Godwin's law. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's not a good argument.
Yeah.
It's not a good argument. Really, really isn't.
And it's terrible. Like, it's just don't do it. Right? I will say though that, like, I'm like, with him, and a lot of the rumors is season 3, yes, he's likely to have more FaceTime, official FaceTime. That's the rumor, at least. But the rest of the time, he's not even on set. You know, it's one of the 2 stunt doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so it's not him in the armor the majority of the time. It's only him in the armor when he takes off the helmet. And then
we definitely know it's him. Then we
definitely know it's him. Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's the voice. And again, like, here's the thing. I don't care what their politics are. Period. I think he did a great job as Din Djarin.
Yeah, I think he did a brilliant job.
Yeah. I mean, and this is always my go-to when I compare someone I may not like personally, even if I don't know him personally, but I disagree with him in public life. But I love the characters they play. Alec Baldwin.
Oh my God, he was so good as Doherty on 30 Rock. One of my favorite characters that he's ever played.
Absolutely.
Jack Doherty.
Jack
on 30 Rock. He was brilliant.
You're saying it with a British accent, and now I can't think of how I say his name. But yes, Donaghy. Jack Donaghy.
Donaghy, that's it.
Yeah.
Jack Donaghy. Yeah.
Freaking love 30 Rock, right? I've rewatched every season of 30 Rock 3 times. It's an amazing show. It's funny, it's witty, it's lots of other great things.
Yeah,
right?
No, it's funny. 30 Rock was just hilarious. 30 Rock was just Tina Fey going, you know what? I'm going to take the piss out of everyone. Nobody is out of bounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that comment at the bottom from Riot. Yes, yeah, yes, you can use Godwin's law against people that are actually call themselves neo-Nazis. Or,
Well, it's true.
you know, if there's some guy and he's got, you know, swastikas tattooed all over his body, you can compare him to that. Yes,
Yes.
that's not invoking Godwin's
case,
law because that's a like for like comparison.
Yeah, in that case, it's
a no-brainer.
Exactly.
It's like you're an asshole as well as a neo-Nazi. So
true. But yeah, absolutely. I just
Jack. Yeah, and his politics. It is. You see, I would actually. I actually like Bald. I obviously I don't like his politics, but
yeah.
I think he is one of the nicest people in the world, because even though he is, you know, rich and wealthy and famous, I remember once, what was it? After the Wall Street, you know, the what was it? After the Occupy Wall Street, after because he lived in New York. After the Occupy Wall Street stuff stopped and all of those people buggered off, you know, Tahrir Square was an absolute mess. He actually went out with other people and cleaned up the mess.
Who is this?
Alec Baldwin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He actually went out
and
helped clean up the mess.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You could have donated money, but you actually gave up your own time to go out and pick up trash. And he took it, you know, he went out and he picked up trash. And I'm like, you know what? I may not respect your ideology or your, you know, your political beliefs, but as a human being, you are a nice person.
Yeah.
Because nice people go up and pick up other people's trash.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what a nice person goes out and picks up other people's trash. A nice person plows the snow off the driveway of a neighbor if they don't think that they can do it. You know,
yes.
A nice person takes out the trash cans of their neighbors if they're ill and infirm and they see that they can't wheel that bin to the end of the driveway. That's what nice people do. Nice people do those small, little, selfless acts. And what's going on in the grey matter is irrelevant if the actions of that person are nice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Being a good human is very underrated. And it should be. It should not be. Like I think here's the thing.
Judge a man by the content of their character.
Indeed, sir.
Didn't a famous person say that once?
Jesus. I believe it was Jesus. Pretty sure. Jesus or Gandhi or who's that one other guy who's a pacifist? Nick Cage. It was one of those three.
But yeah, no, I must admit, I will draw the line. I mean, I'm happy to separate the art from the artist when it's just you know, ideological beliefs and stuff like that, and that's fine. But when it crosses over to inciting violence or actual violent rhetoric, then it's like, so for example, when you get people like Madonna, I want to blow up the White House. I'm thinking to myself, there are people in that building that don't mean you any harm, but what, you just want to blow them up because there's one person in it you don't like? You're a horrible piece of shit. You're a horrible piece of shit. You want to blow up, you want to murder hundreds of people because there's one person you don't like. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah, you can find a better way to do that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, she could have stood up and she could have said, you know, 4 years from now, let's vote the motherfucker out.
Yeah.
That would have got just as much a rapturous applause as I've been seriously considering blowing up. And I'm like, no, you do not instantly go to, I didn't get the result I wanted, let's be violent. It's, I didn't get the result I wanted. 4 years from now, I'm going to try and convince as many people as possible to reverse that decision. That's the way that people conduct themselves peaceably. You don't just go to, I don't like them, punch them in the face or blow them up or do physical harm to them. It's bullshit. It's complete and utter bollocks.
Indeed.
And it's a direct breach of the non-aggression principle.
So, Pawn, who I love, Pawn, over on Twitch says, it's okay to incite violence if you have the right sponsors. Brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Yes. Hold on.
I can only see the live chat on. See, that is following the chat on Twitch, and I'm following the chat on YouTube.
So this has been really interesting, and it shows kind of a double standard, right? And I think ultimately, Nev, you're probably right when it comes down to it, because as I've been looking at the whole, actually I think it was on Friday after all of this stuff was like really heating up. I looked at Twitter. I heard at Twitter that on Wednesday, the hashtag Fire Gina was trending at seventh position, right? Fire Gina or Cancel Gina. I can't remember which one, but it was one of the two.
It's usually the hashtag that's been going around for since you got to remember that hashtag was created back in November of last year, and every now and then it gets drummed up by the people that hate her. So it's been around for a while. And but here's Gina Carano.
But here's the thing. Cancel Disney Plus on Friday was trending at #1 for most of the day, and so. Like, you have a Fire Gina that's trending at 7th, whereas Cancel Disney Plus trending at 1. You know, I feel like there's definitely more of a vibe. Now, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say that's why I was surprised that Disney or Lucasfilm didn't just come out and say, "Look, it wasn't us. We didn't make that statement."
Sure.
End of story. And then that's it. And then Lucasfilm get to go back, and the internet just gets to, like they do, Twitter and YouTube, just make up whatever they want based on a statement from Lucasfilm and Disney saying it wasn't us. Because they literally, all they have to do to blow up Twitter and YouTube for another 36 to 48 hours is say, wasn't us.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all they need to do. Someone in their official capacity just needs to come out and go, yeah, it wasn't us.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
will you confirm it? No. Will you confirm anything? No. Wasn't us.
So,
that's it.
So this is what makes me think that there's either big news or something else they're trying to like cover up. Because they're trying to take the edge off of something, and they're letting this play out for a time so that something else doesn't, pick up or become an issue.
Well, no, that at the moment you've got WandaVision running at the moment. You've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming up immediately afterwards. Yeah. So Disney and Marvel Studios don't want to make too many waves because that thing is working for them at the moment, and all of this bullshit rhetoric that's going on social media and on YouTube is all about Star Wars, but it's going to affect Disney Plus.
Yep.
So which is one of the reasons why I think that they're just being quiet about it, and they're literally just sitting back. It's like, look, if we say it wasn't us, it's just going to continue the cycle for another 46, maybe for another 48, maybe 96 hours. If we just say nothing, trust me, Twitter will find something new to be outraged about.
Give it a day.
Give them a day. Give Twitter a day. They'll find something new to be outraged. Another actor or another famous person will say something that in no way, shape, or form offends 90% of the population. 1% will get offended, and then 0.1% of that 1% that gets offended will get on Twitter and talk about it, because it's always what the 1% of the 1% that gets outraged, and that's it. 90% of the population are like, sorry, who said what?
What? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah.
A sphincter said what?
And then Kathleen Kennedy says, huh?
Yeah.
What?
But 9 times out of 10, that's that. Sorry, nine times out of 10. No, not nine times. No,
One time out.
No, 99,999 times out of 10,000, out of 100,000. That's what happens.
Yeah.
It's just a tiny, 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 minuscule
Yep.
Amount of people that kick off about it. So they will have something to be offended about. I mean.
Yeah.
Hasn't J.K. Rowling got a new book or something coming out? That they can go off on her again.
It was good. I wasn't good. It was fun. It was fun.
I mean, isn't that
Yeah.
I mean, is it? Hang on a minute. Although isn't it the right's turn to be isn't that that the I mean, we get the 1% of the 1% of the left that get outraged about nothing. Isn't it the 1% of the 1% of the right's turn to get outraged by something?
I'm sure they'll find something
in the High Republic or something. Can't they get outraged about that?
Okay, so this is
somebody. Look, all we need is not a scandal. We don't even. It doesn't have to be scandalous. It just needs to be mildly offensive to a tiny, tiny fraction of the internet.
Yeah.
And they'll stop talking about Gina.
Yep.
And they'll stop talking about Star Wars, and they'll talk about that, and they'll demand that something on that, is there something, is there, I don't know, is there an African American on a piece of food or a label for a drink or something that the left can get outraged about? Maybe that that they want to cancel. They just need to find something else they want to cancel.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they just need to find something else they want to cancel.
Yeah, and they will.
Yeah, I mean. Just let them, let them go on. In fact, you know what would work? Oh God, you know what would work? I'll tell you what would work.
Yeah.
Trump needs to announce that he's going to run for president in 2024 because that would just make their heads explode.
Yep.
And nobody be talking about Gina Carano.
Oh no. They'd forget. Well, until Gina Carano is announced as the vice president.
Yeah, no, until they start principal photography of season 3 of The Mandalorian, which has got her in it, and they're all like,
yes,
no, we cancelled her, and Lucasfilm are like, no, you didn't do shit. We weren't listening to a damn thing you said.
Yeah.
Oh, and that person that started the rumor, they got fired. But we put a gag order on them so that they couldn't say that that's what they were fired for.
Yeah. So Pawn over on Twitch says a few things that were pretty awesome. He says, after all this, meanwhile, in some privately owned skyscraper office, Mickey Mouse is swimming in a pool of cash. And then Twitter these days reminds me of the Monty Python witch hunt skit from Holy Grail. She's a witch. She turned me into Newt.
She's a witch. She turned me into a Newt.
I got better.
Okay, I tell you, you know what? I am that confident. I am that confident, right?
Okay.
I am that confident. Okay, I am that confident that Gina Carano will be back to play Cara Dune. That I'm willing to bet putting a Zeta on my entire Phoenix team.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea, to be honest.
My Phoenix team are like Gear 8s.
Still thinking that there's going to be some use
put a Zeta on a Gear 11 or a Gear 12, that's good. But putting a Zeta on a Gear 8? My Kanan is Gear 8. My Zeb is Gear 8. My Hera is Gear 8.
So,
and my Mandalorian chick. I can't count my Ezra because my Ezra's already Gear 12 and he's already got his Zeta on.
Yeah.
But the other 5, they're all Gear 8 and none of them have got. I will Zeta. I am that confident that she'll be back. That's what I'm willing to put up.
All right.
I'm willing to put up my entire Gear 8 Phoenix squad. I will put a Zeta on every single one of them, and it will be a complete and utter waste because it will then force me to take them all to Gear 11 or Gear 12.
What are you talking about? Relic 5, Relic 7. All the way, my friend.
I would, if I put the Zeta on them at Gear 8, I would then be at least forced to take them all to Gear 11 to max them for their ship.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Where was I going? Okay. So yeah. Oh my gosh. I do think that there's a was it you that was talking about the the possible rework of the Phoenix?
Nah, that wasn't me.
So I saw it recently somewhere. I think that there's one coming.
I've had my beer and I've had my 2 large bourbons. The buzz is on.
This is why he's wanting to relic stuff, and making bets. This is just water. That's why I'm not making any crazy bets. Again though, like all of this stuff is around the same time. Everything's coming out, right? And Nev, I think you hit it right on the head. You've got WandaVision, which started in a weird place, and I won't.
First, I was like, after the first 2 episodes, I'm watching it thinking, yeah, I really don't care about this. I just don't care about this. And everybody was like, just watch episode 3, just watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Because there's something good at the end. And I'm like, really? So I've got to watch all of episode 3, 90% of which is stuff I know I'm not going to like because I didn't like the first 2 episodes. And you're saying that I've got to watch 90% of something I know I'm not going to like just because I'm going to like the end. And I'll admit, I liked the end of 3. Yeah. And then I watched 4 and I like the bits. I like some of the bits in 4. And then I watched, and then I watched 5 and I loved the end of 5. And now I'm watching 6.
Absolutely.
That's not to say I like the entire show and I like all of it. I like parts of it. And I will continue watching it because there are parts of it I like.
Yeah. And this is what gives me hope, because I've seen a lot of rumors online right now that talk about like the Star Wars universe, how people are afraid of what's happening. People are afraid of the Acolyte that's coming out. And
isn't that the animated one?
No, Acolyte is not an animated one. It'll be this is the one that it's the only one Kathleen Kennedy still has creative control over.
I thought the Acolyte isn't the Acolyte the Sith one?
Yes. But it's not going to be animated.
Acolyte's the Sith one, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's not animated. And so it's something Hedren, I forget the director's name. But one of the
it's it's her, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the bigger director.
Yeah.
It's the director that's an open bigot, but because her bigotry is aimed at people you're allowed that social media allows you to be bigoted towards, it's perfectly acceptable for her to be a bigot. Yeah. It's not. It really, really isn't, people. I don't care what direction your bigotry is directed at. If you're a bigot, I'm going to call you a fucking bigot. Because you're an asshole. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. And I was saying this to Nev earlier before we even got started. A lot of the rumors are that Kathleen Kennedy's really upset at the success of The Mandalorian, because it overshadows, specifically bringing in Luke Skywalker and what they've done with the character of bringing him back, kind of giving him hope, seeing him do something that isn't giving up on the Jedi. A lot of people are saying that, like,
who's saying that?
It's just rumor.
Pissed off.
It's just rumor.
Is that just? I was about to say, if I'd had all of the, because you get, when you're in charge, you have hits and you have misses.
Yeah.
Like in the MCU, some movies are great, but there are misses. There are some movies that are bad. I mean, the Edward Norton Hulk was a complete and utter miss. It was awful.
What?
But
I loved the Edward Norton Hulk.
It had Edward. It wasn't the best MCU movie. Now, did everybody say, "Oh my God, Kevin Feige, what an awful movie! You are the worst person in the entire world"? No, they didn't, because he, continued making more movies, and those better movies kind of, made the bad taste of that Hulk movie go away.
Yes.
And then there were other movies that were kind of like, well, it's average, perfect. Iron Man 3. I mean, I'm watching Iron Man 3 and I'm like, okay, so there's lots of Iron Man suits and there are people that can burn other people. I mean, is this really worthy of Iron Man? This is the bad guy that you've got for Iron Man? And I'm like, so yeah, so for Iron Man 3 fell completely flat for me, but I didn't
Yeah.
instantly go, you know, Kevin Feige, you screwed up here, mate. You totally screwed the
Yeah.
pooch on this move. So Kathleen Kennedy has been taking if I that's the when people say, oh, it's like she hates it because it's successful. If I was Kathleen Kennedy, I would be clinging to the
Oh
Mandalorian
yeah.
and going, yes, I got something right.
Yeah.
I totally got something right. Kevin, John, you're doing everything. From now on, you two guys, you are doing everything.
Yeah.
Because right now, everyone loves Star Wars. So from now on, you guys, you're doing everything. So when people say there's a rumor that she hates it because it's successful,
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, she's in her office thinking, oh my God, everything's gone to shit. And then all of a sudden, the Mandalorian comes along and she's thinking, oh my God, Dave, John, please, Dave and John, please make Star Wars good so that everybody can forget the nightmare that I've had on the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's put me personally, that's what I think, you know.
And that would make
I wouldn't
the most
hate
sense.
something. I wouldn't hate something that could potentially save me from losing my job.
Yeah. And I think she's probably on her way out. Right? Isn't her contract up in like 22?
A contract is up next year.
Okay, yeah, so 22.
I said last year that I think that somebody will step in the interim and they will officially announce her replacement at Celebration next year,
which is in April
of
next year.
They'll announce her replacement at Celebration next
year. Oh, that would make sense. But again,
unless of course Bill Gates just buys up everything, and buys enough influence to guarantee that the lockdown continues until next year. In which case, no Celebration.
That would be sad. Yeah. I would love to go to Celebration. I think that would be.
I've been to Celebration.
Have you?
It is awesome. Yeah, I went to Me and Ray Rock went to Celebration in 2019.
That would have been awesome.
It was so cool. It was so much fun. There's just so much to see and do, and not enough time to do it in one day.
Yeah, I bet. Here in Salt Lake, we've got a pretty cool Comic-Con, but I've only gone once. But it would be really cool to go to Celebration. I think that's on a whole different level. But here's the thing. A lot of people are I just keep watching these. You have a butt itch? Is that your?
Just getting comfy in my chair. Okay. That's all.
Okay. A lot of people are afraid that the Acolyte is going to bomb. And I heard today on I don't even remember who it was I was listening to, but someone was comparing it to the Batgirl fiasco.
Batgirl? No. You mean the Batwoman?
Whatever. I don't watch the CW anymore.
I was so annoyed with that. I'm actually a Batwoman fan.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm I like DC over Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm more of a DC. So I back in the 90s when I was a kid, I really, really embraced and loved all of the Batgirl, Batwoman stuff.
Yeah.
The Batman stuff, the Judgment on Gotham, the Year One stuff, and the comic book.
Year One stuff was awesome.
The Batwoman comic book was awesome. Yeah. So when I heard that the CW were going to do it, I'm like, get in there.
Yeah.
And then they produced season 1, and I was like, you took an awesome character from an awesome comic book, and you didn't make a mediocre show. You made a complete and utter shit show. Yeah. Thanks a lot for that, because now nobody is ever going to want to watch any reimagination of Batwoman ever again, because the CW has totally destroyed it.
Yeah. And here's my thought. As I was watching this video, I was like, there's no way that Disney is going to let anything like that happen. I mean, you can dislike 7, 8, and 9, but there are redeeming qualities in them.
The music and the cinematography.
The music and the cinematography for some, parts of the story are, and I say this every time I talk about 7, 8, 9. There's huge elements of the story that isn't told. that are just left out. There's jumps in the narrative, and that's why I think that Disney needs to do a Snyder cut of 7, 8, and 9 for like Disney Plus. You know, they need to do like a Hobbit extended version. Give me 15 hours of Star Wars, and I'm right there, man. And then I'll buy the videos, I'll buy the DVDs. Like, you will make so much money off of me if you just fix the story. Give us the Snyder cut.
Give us the Snyder cut
of Star Wars.
A Star Wars Snyder cut. Yeah, I am looking forward to the Snyder. I'm hating the trailers.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Snyder cut, but I absolutely hate these trailers.
Yeah.
I despise these Snyder cut trailers because the music and the general dark feeling, it's like I'm not excited. It's like, oh, for God's sakes, how depressing is this trailer? I'm not excited by it. I'm depressed by it. When I saw the Bad Batch trailer, I got to the end of it and I'm like, oh my God, that is so exciting. I can't freaking wait until I see the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
The trailer excited me.
Yeah.
It didn't depress me. It excited me.
Because it looks amazing.
The Snyder Cut trailers. The first one with, you don't care for me, do you? And I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, do you want people to commit suicide while they're watching this trailer? Because right now, that's what people want to do. People want to kill themselves watching the first Snyder. It was so depressing. And then the second one, I'm like, okay, give us some rock. You know, give us some head-banging rock that we can get, you know, the adrenaline pumping. Get me excited about the Snyder Cut. And then they did another boring Snyder Cut trailer. And I'm like, the only reason I'm excited, I'm watching the trailer and I'm thinking the only reason I'm excited is because it's the Snyder Cut. So the trailers aren't going to affect me. Somebody that doesn't know that the fans fought for a Snyder Cut for 2 years and hasn't watched the original, and the first thing that they're hearing about the Snyder Cut is the trailer. They're going to watch that trailer and think, that's not for me. Yeah, that's really, really not for me. Oh, you put the Joker at the end of the trailer. No, still doesn't make me want to watch the Snyder Cut. That looks really, really depressing. I'm not going to bother. That's what someone that doesn't know about the Snyder Cut is going to think after watching that trailer.
Okay, so I might alienate you here, Nev, but like I hate Jared Leto as the Joker. I saw that.
I don't like him either. I don't think he was. I think he was awful in Justice League. I think he was awful in Suicide Squad.
Anyone else?
I'm a hardcore Batman DC fan.
Yeah.
Like super hardcore, right? And his version of the Joker just doesn't make any sense in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Nothing. There is nothing about his Joker that is even slightly related. So you're not upsetting me. His Joker is an abomination.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be getting remade.
No.
You know, covered in tattoos. That's not what the Joker does. The Joker doesn't do that. The Joker is a humble human being. He's a complete and utter lunatic psychopath, but he's still humble.
Yeah.
He doesn't do, I'm going to drive Lamborghinis fast and I'm going to hang out in nightclubs. It's like, that's not what the fucking Joker does. Are you high on something? What are you on? The Joker does not go to nightclubs. Okay. Yeah. He does not go to nightclubs. He does not drive flashy cars. Yeah. You know, he doesn't. He just doesn't do that, you know?
I'm right there with you. But, like, I have no idea where I was going with all of this.
You were talking about Batwoman.
Oh!
The Acolyte regarding...
There's no way they're going to make the Acolyte as bad as Batwoman turned out.
Batwoman.
No way. There are redeeming qualities in 7, 8, 9. Like, again, if they did a Snyder cut of those for Disney Plus, I I would be an avid fan. If they even remotely developed the character of Rose Tico. Fan, right? Yeah, I'll say it because I think there's potential there. The girl lost her sister. They lost her homeworld. You know, she's part of the resistance, finding hope, finding courage, finding her voice to get out there. No, she frees a bunch of horses. Anyways,
yeah, screw the child labor slaves. Save
the
animals.
Save the animals.
Yep, save the animals, because the animals being saved, that's more important than saving children.
So frustrated.
I mean, it was a galaxy a long time ago. It was, far, far away a long time ago. Maybe in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago, maybe animals were more important than children.
That's possible. Well, maybe, they probably were, actually.
So, child, animal, child, animal. Let's say, trash the child, save the animal. I mean,
yeah.
Apparently,
I mean, because you could always
supposed
eat
to be one of the
wokest
movies ever. Maybe that's caring more about animals than children. That's clearly more important to Rian Johnson. I mean, it's a bit weird that he cares more about, animals, fake space animals that don't actually exist than,
so
humanoid children. That
arguably, here's the thing. I'm going to say this, okay? And you can disagree with me. When a fathier has run its course, you could then, use its hide for, clothing. You could use its bones for food and glue, and you could eat it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
But if a child dies, you can't wear this.
You can't eat a kid.
You can't eat a kid. I mean, you can kill them in a holy place via a massacre, but you can't eat them. You
can't eat the kid. You can eat the animal, but you can't eat the kid.
And so maybe the children aren't worth as much in the Star Wars universe, and maybe that's why they used as slaves, right? I mean, that makes sense. And so maybe she knew, and this is a big maybe, that there was I don't know, there would be more devastation by letting the horses go than the children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can always get more kids, right?
Let's summarize everything that we've been talking about, and then we'll move on to the High Republic.
Okay, good point.
In summary, Gina Carano was never fired.
Okay? Officially.
Yes, she was never officially fired because she does not work for them. Have they let her go? We don't know officially because they never said anything. So
yes,
she wasn't fired. Has she been told she's not coming back? We don't know because there's never been anything official. Her agency did stop representing her, and as a direct result of that, she is now working with the Daily Wire production company to make a movie for them. There is that. And we do not know if her toy has been stopped being produced by Hasbro. We just don't know.
Yeah.
It's an allegation. It's an allegedly. And the reason for that allegedly is because her toy sold out. It's sold out. So it might just be that it's
haven't made it
while
yet
to make 1,000 more.
Yeah.
So, Gina Carano never fired. All you clickbait assholes out there, that's exactly what you are. You just made clickbait. Nothing was true about what you said.
Yeah.
And I think that, I'm betting 5 Zetas on my entire Phoenix team that she will be back to play Cara Dune for season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Agreed.
Let's talk about the High Republic.
The High Republic. This is the new season, the new series, the new era in the Star Wars universe that they are spending all the time and energy.
Hyping it hard.
Yeah.
They are hyping it really hard.
Yeah. And Nev, you read 2 of the comics.
I've read 2 of the comics, yeah.
I've read all 3. I say read. I've listened to all 3 of the books. And if you would like to get a free Audible trial, check in the links below. Always suggest it. Although, if you're interested in Star Wars audiobooks, I would start with Thrawn and not the High Republic. this is a really interesting setup. Now, it's this. The story is they're introducing a new bad guy. The Jedi. It's 100 years before the events of the prequels, right? This is when the Jedi are at the height of power, right? And they have this what do they call that person that Palpatine was? Supreme Chancellor. They have this Chancellor who wants to unite the galaxy. There's a lot of still unexplored areas in the galaxy. They're trying to bring a lot of people in, a lot of planets in together. And one of the things that they think will do this is this thing called the Starlight Beacon.
Yes, the Starlight Beacon. It's in both the comics
Yeah.
that I've read. Yeah.
And so, in the books, the first 3 books are all about how there is this hyperspace disaster leading to the Starlight Beacon, like leading up to it. And this is also where we get introduced to our main new bad guys, the Nihil. Nihil. Connected to Darth Nihilus? I have a feeling the answer is going to be yes. But I don't know, to be honest. So the Nihil are these it's like a biker gang that gets, I don't know, like it's hard to describe because it's like a biker gang that group together that all of a sudden are like way more powerful. So like a biker gang that's being funded by a political party. I don't know. And so they have this one person who is totally in charge, and then he has 3 lieutenants who kind of like go about and do his business. And what happens is in the opening scene of the first book, Light of the Jedi, you have this crash in hyperspace. So you got a ship that's driving through hyperspace. It's called, I forget what it's called. Doesn't matter what it's called. It's driving through hyperspace, and somehow a ship crosses the lane of hyperspace, and the first ship runs into it and blows itself apart, and gets scattered throughout the galaxy. So all of these like pieces of this ship are being like they're popping out in different hyperspace lanes.
Yeah, they're popping. Yeah, it's kind of weird because the one of the comics that I read, it almost looks like a wormhole.
Yeah,
It just appears above a planet and rains debris down on that planet. Because I'm watching it and I'm thinking, okay, so this is the second comic book that I've read, and it keeps talking about this hyperspace disaster. So why are there wormholes? Why is a wormhole opened up above a planet? So this whole, whoever's writing this stuff doesn't seem to be. I get that they're trying to have some kind of a disaster.
Yeah.
Right. I get that there's some kind of a disaster, and that. But what I don't get is how debris from the crash between 2 ships in hyperspace makes wormholes pop open all over the place, and debris from that crash just randomly shower down on planets.
Yeah. So
that's the part it's one of the reasons why I said I've read the 2 comic books, and to me they were meh. Now they're meh because I don't fully understand, because for some strange reason it's like, oh, you'll only get it if you read the books as well. And I'm like, but what if I just want to read a comic?
Yeah.
What if I don't want to read your book? What if I'm just a comic book person? I'm reading the 2 comics and I don't get what's happening in these comics because people are telling me, oh, you don't get it. You've got to read the book. It's like, but I don't want to read the book.
That's why they read the comic.
I'm a kid. I just read and look at comic. So, So I'm reading a comic book, and the comic to link into what you're talking about regarding the debris
Yeah.
falling on planets. So the second comic book that I read is Master Yoda, who was drawn pathetically poorly.
Yeah.
Like really bad. I mean, oh god, Yoda is drawn so bad in this comic, but he's on a ship with a bunch of Padawans,
Mhm.
doing what you kind of expect Jedi to do. You know, they're on a mercy mission. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we've had this alert. You know, this planet, it's in trouble, and we're going to help. And
Yeah.
Jedi Master Yoda and the other master that's on the ship, they're like, look, we're going to stay on the ship, and we're going to, you know, use the Force to, you know, control the larger pieces of debris. We
Yeah.
need you Padawans to go to the surface and kind of help people there, and you know, and deal with the smaller bits. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's a sound concept.
Yeah.
That is a perfectly sound concept. That is the kind of thing that you would expect the Jedi to do. They're in a ship, they receive a call, a planet needs help, they go to the call, and they're told exactly what to expect, and that's it. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm down with that. That's a good idea. But then they start throwing all these other little bits into the story, and it's like, well, I don't get why they're doing that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they're doing that.
Yeah.
That's badly drawn, and I don't understand why this group of people's doing that.
Yeah.
Yet the comic book started off so well. You know, putting aside the badly drawn Yoda,
Yeah.
the comic started off great.
Mhm.
You know, it did. It really, really started off great. But then, you know, I get to the page where a wormhole is opening above a planet, and it's just raining debris, and I'm like, how much debris do two ships crashing in hyperspace create?
A
Like, you
lot,
know,
apparently.
apparently it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what's absolutely fascinating about this is that it's like they've created this story that everything is supposed to tie into. The problem is they haven't really tied a lot into it just yet. And it becomes this, well, I guess I get it, but like you have to kind of like read everything to make sure that you understand what's going on. And I think that that's kind of a problem. Now, one of the things that bugged me as I was listening to this, because I listened to them, but one of the things that absolutely bugged me is in the book, every single time Yoda is mentioned, like they bring him up, they're like, "Oh, Master Yoda would do this, or Master Yoda would do that." Master Yoda at this point is not Grand Master Yoda; he's just a Jedi Master.
Mm-hmm.
And the comic that I just read points out that he's not even the Jedi Master we think he is. There's something.
Yeah, no, in the comic they mentioned something about him leaving the Order and coming back, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, he's on like a sabbatical of some kind. It felt really weird when I was like, wait a second, Yoda took some time off. Maybe he took some time off to have a baby. Don't know what that's about, but
yeah, him and Yaddle, you know,
him and Yaddle, they on their honeymoon. It's an interesting story, but there's some big things that bug me about it. The story itself it draws heavily on old. Well, first off, the big problem that I see for this is they've got to create a story that initiates the fall of the Jedi. Right? They've got to make the Jedi so pompous, so arrogant that they are oblivious to the rise of the Sith. Right? And that's a dangerous zone to just be in. But at the same time, like, it makes sense if they do it right. Does that make sense? Right? The follow. Anyways, like it's.
Yeah, I mean, there are other things that they need to get right in order to retain people wanting to watch it,
exactly,
or wanting to listen to it, or wanting to read it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, better inkers, better artists. I mean,
Sure.
the first comic I read was about a one-armed Transdosian
Yes.
Jedi Master
Skier.
taking his Padawan through the trials.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that it was a Transdosian because it was so badly drawn. I'm like, oh, it's just some random alien.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, he's a Transdosian. I'm like,
Is
really?
he?
Because he didn't bloody look like one.
Yeah. Yeah. So
the skin, the texture, the coloration, it was all off.
yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself that you've got Marvel artists probably on retainer that have drawn better. So why aren't you using them? You know,
Yeah.
I know that you've got this whole story group thing that you've set up with your new art, but you know, if Kevin Feige was making an MCU movie and he needed someone to do very specific special effects, do you think he's going to go, oh, hang on a minute, we had
that new guy
do those special effects. We had a guy do those special effects in Iron Man 2. I'll get him on the blow up. We've got him on retainer. We'll have him do him again for this new movie. Kevin Feige would be like, yep, go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
With this, it's like, well, I've never really drawn a Transdosian before. It's like, oh, it's not a problem. We hired these guys and they drew them really, really well for this comic book. We got them on retainer. We'll just get them back to do it again. It's like, no, we're not bringing in old people. You're doing it. Yeah, but I can't do it. I don't care if you can or
but
can't.
I'm an accountant.
We're gonna hype you up so much that people are just gonna love you because we hype you up.
Yeah.
Even if you can't draw a Transdosian or Jedi or GMY, we're gonna hype you up.
Yeah.
And if people don't like your art, we'll just insult them and call them bigots.
Yep. So
it's not that you're bad at your job, it's that people don't like what you've done because they hate you.
Yeah.
We'll just make up a reason why they hate you. And it's like, no, you had a good start to the comic, but you kind of went wrong in a few places.
Yes.
And you went wrong in a few places because you didn't stick to what you knew and you didn't apply the resources that you know that you've got from other IPs to this to make it like top notch, you know?
Yep.
You had your group of people and you just wanted to use that group of people that was very two-dimensional. You know, when the people in that group say they can't do something, you go and get someone that can do it. You don't just say
believe them.
You don't just say we'll settle for you,
Yeah.
even though you've said you can't do it.
Yeah.
Well, tough. We're hiring you to do it. It's like, yeah, but I can't do it.
But I'm capable. So here's the thing, right? So the books are.
I draw hot white chicks. I don't draw Transdosians.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we'll get someone to do the Transdosians. You keep drawing the hot white chick.
So the first book is written by Charles Schule. The second book is written by Justina Ireland, and she's the one that a lot of people are having problems with right now because a lot of her comments have been incredibly bigoted, and when she was called on it, they got a lot of heat, and people are like, "Oh no, we're standing with her because anyone who's offended by those comments is clearly a racist."
I've got Light of the Jedi and Into the Dark. One is written by Claudia Gray, and the other is by Charles Soule.
Yes, so those are the other two. That's not the one that's written by this lady.
All right, okay.
And here's the thing.
So they're not bigots, just the other lady. Just the third lady is a bigot. Okay.
Now, I have loved everything that Claudia Gray has done so far in the Star Wars universe. I don't know her work outside of it. But in the universe, I've been like Lost Stars was my favorite book for a long time. It was really good. It was really well done. The way that it was written, the way that it was told. It even took place in the sequel trilogy for the most part, and it was done really, really well. This Into the Dark is still an interesting book. I will say that it is better than I was afraid that it was going to be. After I started listening to it, I was kind of worried. The idea is super promising. Okay, it is Event Horizon in Star Wars. So if you don't know Event Horizon,
I've watched Event Horizon.
Yeah,
Event Horizon is like awesome sci-fi horror.
Yeah,
it's like one of the best sci-fi horrors ever.
Actually. Exactly. Just a crazy awesome sci-fi horror.
An incredible cast.
Oh yeah, just amazing cast. So crazy awesome sci-fi horror, and that's kind of like some of the reviews before I bought it were like, this is what you're going to be getting into, and I was like, sweet. I loved Event Horizon. We haven't seen a horror style Star Wars story in the new canon, in the new Star Wars movies, or the new Star Wars books. I think the last one that I know of was, I think Red Harvest was one of the only. It was the one where there were death troopers. It was zombie.
No. It was Red. Hang on a minute. Are you sure? No, Red Harvest.
No, Red Harvest was the Sith one.
No, are you
and
sure?
Then Death Trooper.
I thought Red Harvest. No, Red Harvest was the Imperial Guard one, wasn't it?
No, there were some Sith in that one. I want to say there were like Sith plants. Sith plants that made people.
You're gonna have to Google it. I could have swore that the Red Harvest was the.
I think it was called
the Royal Imperial Guard.
The one that I'm thinking is called like Death Trooper, and it shows like a Imperial helmet on like a hook, like a meat hook. There's blood all over it. That's the one. It's essentially zombies, right? Zombies in space.
Star Wars zombies. That would be a good crossover.
And so was the other one, but the other one was all about the Sith doing it, and this one was about like some geneticist. But anyways, so we've got this story. It's in my mind as this is Star Wars in space, or Event Horizon in Star Wars. And I was like, all right, this is cool. This is a cool concept. I like the idea. And then what happens? Well, they get off the space station pretty quickly. I'm like, okay, well so it can't be Event Horizon anymore because that's not what the point is. But the idea is that they go to the space station and it's haunted, or there's the dark side there, and it's really strong in the dark side, and they've got to figure out what's causing it, right? And without giving it away, they do, and they move stuff and they change things and whatever. One of the things that is so very frustrating about this is Jedi sex. and you kind of get a feeling in some of the other books that there's some romantic entanglements amongst the Jedi. In this book specifically, they talk about like when a Jedi can procreate, when a Jedi can be intimate, how a Jedi deals with his urges. It's fairly interesting, but weird, because it's something that we've never seen in a Star Wars book before, ever. And
as a general rule, you don't really talk about sex.
Yeah, right.
I mean, although I will say, there is one reference. There was one reference to sex in one book, one Star Wars Extended Universe book that I read, and it was one throwaway line. It was a female character that was working with Luke Skywalker in the Crystal Star at the time, and some random guy walks up to her and says, "Have you ever had sex in zero gravity?" And in the book, she just looks at him and goes, "Yeah," and laughs it off. And that's it.
Yeah.
And in every single extended universe book that I have ever read, that is the only reference to sex I have ever seen in a Star Wars book.
Yeah.
Ever.
So
so to hear from you multiple references
multiple references
in one book.
Yeah,
makes me kind of think that the person writing the book probably needs to get some.
Yeah, maybe,
or
so,
maybe watch a little bit of Pornhub.
Possibly,
maybe.
So here's the thing. Like, Claudia Gray in Lost Stars has a scene where the two main characters hook up, but it's not the scene, right? It's the next day they wake up. It's like if you've ever seen Casablanca, right, where the woman walks up to him and she's like, "I'll do anything to get out of Casablanca, out of Morocco. Just give me the things." And then it fades to black, and the next day she's leaving. What do you think happened? Right? It's the implication of what happened.
Yeah,
here,
the implication is there, but it's not explicitly said.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. It's not like an R-rated movie where it's like, what do I've got to, it's not like Ellen Ripley. Who do I have to fuck to get off this planet?
Yeah, exactly.
And Hicks is like, I'll get you off. It's like, yeah, but I'm not really gonna sleep with you. I just said that
want to get
because
off
it was a cool line in a movie about aliens.
Yeah.
But it sounds like in this book,
so
that there's kind of an emphasis on it.
Yeah, there is. So there, and here's the thing: maybe there's not. And the reason I bring that up, and the reason I say that, is simply because it's so not mentioned in any other Star Wars. Like, we know Anakin got Padme pregnant.
Yeah.
That wasn't via the Force. I mean, maybe there was some Force used, but like, not
the Immaculate Force conception.
It wasn't how Palpatine got Shmi pregnant.
Maybe it was like the Q from Star Trek. Oh, there we go.
And
That's
good.
it. I'm good.
And we're
See,
good.
even Star Trek were classy with it because everyone's like, "Oh, sex," and then all they did was that, and that was it. Was over. And Janeway was like, "Really? That was it?
That was it?
I thought you wanted to like do the dirty with me." And Q's like, "Oh my god, how vulgar."
Yeah, I need a cigarette though after this.
Yeah.
It's
like,
I'll call you. The money's on the dresser.
Keep going.
Anyways, so the idea here is because it's not mentioned so like ever, it is very jarring. Like, there's a character who talks about they're like, well, it's so one of the main characters is the daughter of a Pond says we all need a cigarette after this discussion. So there's a character who is on the ship with it's a rock creature and a hippie, essentially, like open shirted, beads and everything, right? And as they're going through this, they're like, well, have you ever wondered why your mom let you travel with me? And the daughter's like, well, I assume that she trusts you. Do you wonder why she trusts me? Because I am asexual. And he goes and he talks about it. It's like, yeah, I've had sex before. I've done these things, so on and so forth. But it doesn't appeal to me. And like, it was funny because I was reading the book and I was like, well, maybe you're doing it wrong. Like, it was just like it was a conversation that went on for a while. And it was like, this is weird. And like, the girl that he's talking to is, I want to say she's like 14 or 15. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I get this. Having conversations with kids at that age makes sense. But it's just weird in a Star Wars book, right? Then,
no, I get that. It's weird in a Star Wars book.
Then we have like a Jedi who's a Padawan and he doesn't like adventure. He's very bookish, and he gets a girl flirting with him, and he remembers his master's teachings about that. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I get that you're a Padawan. You've never been off of Coruscant. This is your first experience into the world. You're having feelings, but it's funny and interesting in a way because Anakin, Anakin was like, he was. That's what drove him to the dark side. You know, it was the relationship, the connection, and it was funny because I was earlier this afternoon. I was watching Lore Star, and he was actually talking about the breakdown of this movie or of this book, and he pointed out that like in the book, and I have to say he's 100% accurate here. The Jedi are okay with random hookups, but familial love, not cool. You know, and I'm like, that's weird. And it's funny because if you go through and you watch the whole video, he talks about how Ki-Adi-Mundi was one of very few male characters of his species, and that he did go back and he did procreate with members of his species, but he didn't have any contact with them, and so Ki-Adi-Mundi is this like deadbeat dad who like,
oh, they're always deadbeat dads.
yeah.
It's always a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
But
anyways, it was just what's funny though is it's actually an interesting story, but there's just moments in the book that totally threw me off, and I'm like, I just wish this wasn't here, you know.
Yeah. No. It's if you remember, a good analogy of that would be when we were watching Picard.
Yes,
and we got the pure fucking hue, and we're all like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you think you are? This is Star Trek.
Yeah.
This is Star Trek. Who do you think you are putting that in a Star Trek episode? And then they did it again a few episodes later, and it's like, what the hell are we watching?
Yeah.
It's like it completely threw us off.
Yeah.
And took us out of, this isn't Star Trek. This
exactly.
is not. If this was Star Trek, that wouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
So the you know, them interjecting, it's like, oh well, it's our Star Wars now. Just like those people, just like, you know, Alex Kurtzman and the people that are on his team. It's our Star Trek, and we're going to make Star Trek how we want Star Trek, not how the fans want Star Trek. We don't give a shit about what you want.
Yeah.
We run the show now. It's our franchise, and you're going to like what we give you. And all we're thinking is, you know what? I'm going to parrot the same words back to you. Sheer fucking hubris.
Yeah.
So it's like exactly the same with this. It's like, well, you know, it's our Star Wars now. And if we want to put sex in the book, that's what we're going to do. It's like, well, yeah, that might be fine for new Star Wars fans that haven't watched all of the other movies, that haven't watched all the other shows, that haven't read all the other comics and graphic novels, and that haven't read all of the other books. That's fine for them. But what about everyone that's read everything beforehand, watched everything beforehand, listened to everything beforehand, and they're reading this now and they're like, yeah, this just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what is it? Do we get an apology?
No.
Well, you know, we're sorry. This book probably isn't for you.
Yeah.
You know, this book probably isn't for you. This is for newer, this is for a newer generation of fans that hasn't read all of that. If that gets explained to you beforehand, you can be like, oh, right, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
a bit like season 7 of about like season 7 of the Clone Wars. Not every episode was for everyone. A bit like some movies and some books. Not every movie, not every book, not every episode is for everybody. But we hope that there's something there that you'll like. This book probably isn't for you.
Exactly.
Instead of, you don't like this book, therefore we hate you. You're a hateful person. We hate you. You're a bigot. Go away. You're not a real fan. It's like, no, I am a real fan, but the sex kind of,
it throws you off.
It threw me off, and it pulled me out of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I'm still going to give it
Trek analogy. Does the Star Trek analogy work for you?
It does. It does.
Sorry, Star Trek. The Picard analogy. Does the
Picard
analogy work?
You got to keep the difference.
Yeah.
like it does, and it fits. I will say that I'm still going to give it a chance. I still think that there's a lot of potential here.
Yeah, see, I definitely ain't reading it now.
Yeah, like it's.
I'll keep reading the comics because I've read 2 comics and both of them said to be continued at the end, so I need to know what is the to be continued bit.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm thrown off by it, and so like I'm curious to see where they go, but I'm not excited as much as I am to see stuff like Thrawn and some of the other books that are coming out. There's a lot of potential in Star Wars storytelling. I'm just really worried about where they're taking this. So I don't know. But with that, guys, we got to wrap up. We've been on for
how long have we been on for?
An hour and 45 minutes.
Well, we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
and it was a fun conversation.
It was, and so we will probably pick up again if more news comes out about Gina Carano or anything else.
More lies. If there are more lies, we will come to debunk the lies.
Yes.
We will set the record straight with facts and empirical data. No rumors, no
Indeed.
Trash.
Indeed. So with that, though, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll also most likely be coming back when Bad Batch is launched again, which I'm thinking probably sometime after Falcon. That's where I'm thinking.
Yeah, we've definitely got to do the Bad Batch. I'm so looking forward to that show.
Yeah.
We've got to do a weekly, Talking Bad.
Talking Bad would be awesome.
Talking Bad.
Anyway, so thank you for joining us tonight, guys. We love it. We love this. You guys can catch Nev on the Escape Podcast,
but much more PG rated.
Yes.
I really let my hair down tonight.
You did. Our goal was PG-13, which means 3 F words, and I think I got 5. So maybe, I don't know, a tame R, right?
I would say a 15A.
15A? Okay.
A 15A.
All right. And there was discussion of sex, but no visuals.
That wasn't our fault. That's Star Wars' fault.
Yeah, that's on Star Wars. That's
on Star Wars.
Yeah, totally on Star Wars. But with that, guys, thanks again for joining us. Check out the links below in the section below. Follow Nev on Twitch and follow us wherever we can be found, guys. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy and Nev from the Escape Pod Cast. And remember to smile and stay nerdy.